Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking a journey deep into the hidden landscapes of human psychology. We're going to explore a strange, beautiful, and sometimes slightly deceptive quirk in how our minds work. It's a phenomenon that shapes our daily decisions, our relationships, and how we interact with the physical world around us, often without us ever noticing it's even happening. To start things off, I want you to imagine a freshly assembled DIY spice rack. You just spent a solid hour putting it together. It might be slightly imperfect, maybe a little wobbly on one side, but as you step back to look at it, it suddenly feels incredibly meaningful. It feels vastly more valuable than some perfect factory-made rack you could have just bought off a shelf. So, have you ever wondered why that actually is? Okay, let's dive into this. This phenomenon is known as the IKEA effect. But the fascinating truth is, the IKEA effect isn't really about furniture at all. It's actually about a profound kind of psychological alchemy. It's about how our physical effort miraculously transforms into emotional value. Once you understand that your mind doesn't treat an object you helped create as an outside object anymore, well, this entire bias begins to make perfect sense.
At first, it might just seem like a simple preference, but it's deeply wired into how we process experiences. Think about a carefully prepared home-cooked meal versus a very similar meal that's simply handed to you at a restaurant. Even if the ingredients are exactly the same, the meal you cooked yourself often feels far more satisfying. Why is that? It's not because the food magically changed on a molecular level. It's because your mind literally bundles the physical process of cooking directly with the final product. This reveals something absolutely fundamental about how we perceive the world around us. We do not evaluate objects only by what they are. We also evaluate them by what it took to get them. While an outsider looking at a handmade chair merely sees wood and screws, the builder's mind sees something entirely different. The builder quietly adds the time spent, the mistakes corrected, the frustration, and the patience required directly into the object's total worth. To understand why our brains do this, we really have to look at how we process struggle. Consider the difference between climbing a steep flight of stairs versus taking an elevator. Both get you to the exact same floor, right? But reaching the top of those stairs feels undeniably more earned, simply because it demanded more from your body. Our minds constantly read physical or mental struggle as hard evidence that an outcome is significant. Because the brain is constantly trying to make sense of the world efficiently, it uses a rough, unconscious shortcut. It tells us if it was hard to make, it must matter more. Now, this shortcut is often pretty useful, but it fundamentally blurs the line between how exhausting something was to build and how excellent it actually is. We start confusing labor with excellence and difficulty with quality. But something deeper happens as we move from merely exerting effort to actively participating in creation. We cross a subtle boundary between legal ownership and psychological ownership. Legal ownership is simply a cold fact. That thing belongs to me. But psychological ownership, well, that's a feeling. It shifts our mindset from that thing exists to I had a hand in that thing existing. And that is an incredibly powerful shift. You can see this shift happen in the real world all the time. Imagine a school project poster. If you just watch someone else make it, it's really just a piece of cardboard. But the exact moment you start cutting, gluing, and arranging those pieces yourself, it transforms. The mind goes from saying, I did this, to this is mine. The poster is no longer a neutral object. It's become a protective extension of your very self. And because the object is now an extension of the self, the way we see its imperfections changes completely. A crooked edge on a handmade shelf isn't seen as bad design by the person who made it. Instead, that little flaw is reinterpreted as a story of problem-solving, of persistence, and learning. Once effort enters the picture, physical flaws feel a lot less like defects and a lot more like intimate fingerprints. Now the pattern becomes clear. We generally assume that a perfectly rational process is taking place. We think we objectively judge something as valuable, and therefore we get attached to it. But the reality of human psychology is entirely reversed. First, we get attached because of our effort, and because we're attached, we judge the object much more favorably. This is exactly why an outsider might see a half-finished, slightly inconvenient bookshelf, while the builder feels nothing but overwhelming pride. We can really visualize this like a thread being pulled through fabric. Your initial investment of time forces your attention to track every tiny decision. In turn, that focused attention stitches a profound sense of psychological ownership deep into your mind, ultimately leading a tight seam of emotional attachment. The time you spent is now permanently stitched into the object's very meaning.
And this brilliantly illustrates the invisible mental loop that locks our judgment into place. As you invest your effort and participate in the creation, your mind quietly writes a whole new story, convincing you that because you struggled for it, it simply must be more valuable. It's a seamless illusion, and it's happening in real time.
However, this beautiful mechanism of meaning-making carries a very real practical cost. Because we confuse personal effort with objective quality, we can easily become blinded. Imagine a small business owner who fiercely defends poorly designed product packaging, rejecting all constructive feedback, simply because they spent countless sleepless nights designing it themselves. The effort was undeniably real, but it has completely distorted their ability to see the objective weakness of the idea.
As we move further, we see just how tightly this chain reaction cements itself. Think of a piece of calligraphy you might have practiced for weeks. Where someone else just sees ink on paper, your mind sees your own patience. Your judgment is softened by your own effort, making it almost impossible to separate the quality of the work from the person who made it. Ultimately, this forces us to completely redefine our understanding of value. It isn't just a cold, objective measurement of what an object physically is. It's a deeply human feeling of what it cost us to make and how perfectly it reflects our identity back to us. Understanding the IKEA effect acts as a profound lens, allowing us to step back and separate our intense emotional attachments from objective accuracy in our daily lives.
Which leaves us with a final, lingering question to ponder the next time you roll up your sleeves to tackle a project. When you pour your time, your frustration, and your energy into creating something new, what will you build next? And whose reflection will you truly see in it?